Is it actually possible to quit your day job to stay home with your babies and make a living doing it? It's totally possible, and I'm about to share with you how I did it, grew my business to 6 figures, and my top 5 strategies on owning your own successful handmade business coming up. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, owner of a 6-figure Etsy handmade business. It's in the top 1% of Etsy shops according to eRank. I'm super excited you're here because I have lots to share with you, and I'm excited to help you reach your goals of either starting or growing your own handmade business and making it super successful. I began on Etsy in 2015. I had just gotten pregnant with my 2nd child and just wanted to be able to stay home with my babies and make a living while working from home somehow. I thought for a while about what I would actually sell on Etsy. I knew I wanted to do something handmade, and I've always been a creative person, but just didn't really know what the right product would be. And so I started watching tutorials of just some different things I was interested in and settled on pallet wood signs. So I watched some tutorials on YouTube on how to make wood signs and gave it a shot, and they actually started turning out really cute. So that was my first product that I listed on Etsy. I started selling mainly to family and friends in the beginning, and it took me a while to get my first actual organic Etsy sale. When I first started on Etsy, I knew nothing about photography, listings, SEO, nothing. And I had the worst product photos. I am so surprised that I even ever made my first sale. And I'm gonna show you what one of my very first product photos looked like right here. You can see now, looking back, why I'm surprised I ever made that first sale. But sure enough, it did come in after a few weeks, and I got that first email saying, "You've made an Etsy transaction, congratulations," and I was so excited. I was thrilled. Eventually, I decided I should probably learn a little bit more to up my game, and so I learned a little bit about photography and lighting and how to list my products and how the Etsy algorithm works, and slowly but surely started to realize I actually was growing and making more and more sales. That first Christmas, my business was basically catapulted forward when I had my first best-selling product. That was my product that took off and just skyrocketed my business. I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I want to share with you guys my top 5 strategies for either starting or growing your handmade business. The first tip I have for you is to think about your mindsets, and there are 2 main mindsets that I want you to try to adopt in this process of starting and growing your business. The first mindset I want you to think about is the "it's possible" mindset. It's possible. It really is possible. People have done it. I can start this business. I can grow it to 6 figures. I can stay home with my kids, and I can have fun and love what I'm doing. The second mindset I want to mention is the business mindset. This is the mindset that tells you this is not a hobby. This is actually a business. Maybe you sew, maybe you paint, maybe you make wood signs. Whatever it is that you do, you have to start thinking of it as your product, not just your hobby. I want you to know, just as an encouragement, that people are actually doing this. They're taking their hobby and transforming it into a successful business product. Okay, let's move on to strategy number 2, which this could arguably be the most important thing that I would tell you to focus on. It's to follow the trends. This is so important. A lot of times we crafty, artistic people can get so caught up in our art and our art form that we sort of neglect what's trending and what's actually popular at the time. And I know you don't want to base your whole business around just a fad, but you have to be willing to follow trends. That is what's going to make you the money. Now, don't get me wrong, there are shops out there that are very unique that maybe aren't about trends at all, and they are successful. But for the most part, when you're starting out, what's going to bring you the most quick success is to follow what people are searching for, what is the style at the time, what are the trends at the time. So one strategy is to copy what others are doing and what's popular, but put your own spin on it so that you can have a product that is trending, that's popular, that people will love, but it also is uniquely you and uniquely your brand. So one way I would recommend to do this, once you've decided on what type of product you want to sell, go to the first page of Etsy, type in that product and look at what's listed on the first page, because the first page of Etsy is a really good indicator of products and listings that are selling left and right. When you type in a keyword to search on Etsy, pretty much everything on the first page are products that have sold recently or consistently. So it's good to get an idea of what's on that first page, because that can tell you what's trending and what things are selling really well. When I'm looking for a new wreath design or different ideas, I would go to Etsy and type in Christmas wreath, and then things will pop up on that first page. I'll have a whole page of different types of Christmas wreaths that have either sold recently or have been consistently selling, and I can go through and look at the pictures and see what materials are being used, what styles are being used, what patterns, and I can get an idea of what is actually really popular that year for Christmas wreaths. It's not bad to get ideas from other people's products and just put your own twist on it, so you know you'll end up with a product that's trending, that'll be successful, but uniquely you. If you notice there's something that's trending or popular, but you're not quite sure how to do it, or maybe it's a skill set that you don't have yet, you can learn just about anything on YouTube. So I wanted to mention the importance of being able to learn and being able to teach yourself, looking up tutorials on YouTube or other websites that may have tutorials. I actually taught myself how to do palette signs. I taught myself how to do wreaths. I actually sell mugs, and I taught myself how to do that. So a lot of it is your research and being able to learn from tutorials, which are free online a lot of times. One thing to note before we move on to the next tip is that you always want to be researching and staying ahead of the trends as much as possible. Every trend has a life cycle, so things will come into style and go out of style. And you want to be able to really time your products with the peak of the trend. So to be able to do that, you want to stay ahead of it. You want to try to notice when things are starting to come into style or starting to trend, so that you can jump on that and peak with the trend, and then as it goes out, you're already moving on to your next idea. Strategy number 3 is to start a community. You want to focus at the beginning on your local community, because this is going to help you grow and expand outward. The first thing you need to do to start your community is to go on Facebook and start a Facebook group for your business. A group, in my opinion, is a little bit better than a business page. You can have both, but a group tends to bring a lot more engagement. Once you've started your group, you want to invite all of your family and friends and invite everyone you know to your group. We're going to talk in just a minute about how to grow that group, but before we talk about that, the second thing having to do with Facebook that I want you to focus on is go on and try to find some local community groups or pages that have to do with your area. This is going to be really important for growing outside of your family and friends in the next step. One thing I want you to do when you first start your business group is to do a big giveaway. Giveaways are amazing when it comes to trying to grow your audience and have people invite their friends. And ask your group members to enter by doing a certain number of steps. My recommendation is to have them like the post, share the post, and invite friends to your group. So in a Facebook group, you can actually have people invite their friends, which is better than just sharing, because inviting their friends gives them individual invitations for each friend that they click on. So it grows your group quickly and exponentially. What they'll also need to do after all the other steps of entering the giveaway is make sure to have them comment on the giveaway post to say entered or I did it. Anything they want to put there to let you know that they've actually done the steps and entered the giveaway. Commenting will help you to keep track of who all has actually entered, but it also boosts your post so that that giveaway post becomes more visible to the other people in the group on their feed. There's another strategy that helps you to boost any new listings that you might put on Etsy. This strategy is to offer a major discount anytime you put up a new product or a new listing. So when you start getting sales, like multiple sales on a new listing that you've put up, it quickly bumps it up in the search so that that listing becomes more visible, and it bumps it up to the first, second, third page, however relevant Etsy determines that your listing is for that buyer. Hopefully you're getting some value out of this. If you are, tap the like button. So you're gonna start your Facebook group. You're gonna promote your giveaway in the beginning to launch it and grow it. Now, when you post a new listing, you're gonna offer a big discount in the very beginning to catapult it. Now, you don't have to keep that discount available for too long. You don't wanna be losing a bunch of money, but have it open for long enough, I would say maybe a few days to a week, depending on how many orders you're actually getting on it, to where it can gain some traction. Strategy number 4 is to focus on photography and SEO. So first we'll talk about photography. Photography is one of the very most important things you need to focus on to take your business to that next professional level. You could have the best product ever, but if your photos stink, people are not gonna click on it. They're not gonna click through on a bad photo. Bad photos can really kill your listings, even if your product is stellar. The longer Etsy has been around, the more professional shops have become in their photography. So you're really gonna have to up your game when it comes to lighting and good photography to be able to compete. When it comes to product photography, lighting is number 1. You've gotta get lighting right or else nothing else will work. I'm gonna show you what a difference lighting can make for a product photo. Here's the same photo with good lighting versus bad lighting.
Holy moly!
Isn't it crazy what a difference lighting can make? You want to have natural lighting. You want your products to have a really nice, airy look to them, bright and fresh, and so the best way to achieve that is natural lighting. Now don't get discouraged thinking this is so much, this is overwhelming, because really when it comes to photography, you can do everything you need on a smartphone, and I have done it that way for years. One other thing I did want to mention in regards to lighting is if you have smaller products, you can use something called a light box kit. A light box kit is great for small product photography because it's a box that comes and you basically set it up with a background. Sometimes it comes with 2 or 3 different colored backgrounds and a few small lights that you can place on the side in different areas to light it just the way that you want. But the box actually diffuses the light that's coming in on the product to make it just right for photos. Now, after you take your product photos, you want to edit them. Editing is absolutely necessary, and I actually didn't realize this in the beginning, and I didn't think editing was really that big of a deal, and I would kind of just shoot and go and put them up on my listing. And adding some brightness, it can make all the difference in the world. Let's talk SEO. You may or may not have heard the term SEO before, but it's super important if you want to have a successful handmade business on Etsy. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And you may not realize that Etsy is actually a search engine, which means when people go to Etsy to search for a product or something they want to buy, there's a search bar and they type in what they want. Usually that's called a keyword. So they'll type in a keyword for what they're looking for to see what products are available. You want to optimize your listings to be found easily in the search when someone types in a keyword that's similar to what you're offering. Etsy, along with all the other search engines out there, have algorithms, which means it's basically a system or a formula that Etsy uses to match what the shopper is typing in and what they're looking for with your product. If it's a match, they'll bring it up on the search page in the results and show it to the shopper. If it's not a match, it won't be found anywhere on search. So if I go in and type in Christmas wreath, they're not going to be showing that shopper pictures of baby socks. So we have to learn as Etsy shop owners how to optimize our listings by using keywords, tags, and titles. There are a lot of factors that go into the Etsy algorithm. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see something more in depth about the Etsy algorithm, but there's a lot of factors, one of which is how recent of a sale has this listing made. Another one is how relevant is this listing, which means is it consistently making sales? So the more relevant that Etsy determines your listing to be for that shopper, and the more recent you've had a sale on that listing, the higher up in the search it will be shown. And your goal is to be on that first page of the Etsy search. When someone types in one of your keywords, you want your product to be the first on there. My Christmas wreath ended up being the first. When you would type in Christmas wreath last year during the Christmas season, it would pop up with mine first, which means that something is working with my SEO, with my tags, with my titles. But the reason it's working is because I did research ahead of time. I knew which phrases around that product people would be typing in. There's some research that goes into this to figure out your SEO, to figure out what you should put in as your tags, what you should put in your title to match what people are actually searching for. There's a great website for Etsy sellers which helps with SEO research, and that is erank.com. I'll link it down below, so if you'd like to try eRank, you can check it out and see how it works. It not only gives you analytics for your own shop, but it also helps in your keyword research. So you can type in a keyword and it will tell you how popular, how many times that keyword has actually been searched on Etsy, and what the overall score is, meaning how likely is it that if you use this keyword as one of your tags, that a shopper will type it in and it'll be matched. eRank is a great tool for SEO research to figure out what tags and titles are actually going to work for your product. Okay, so let's move on to strategy number 5, which is to source Wholesalers. Every product is made with materials. You have certain material costs for what you need to buy to actually make your product. Instead of going to a retail store like Walmart or Target to buy your materials to make your product, you need to do some research to find wholesalers that you can buy from. Usually it's about 50% less expensive than what you would find at a retail shop. You're gonna save yourself a lot of money in material costs if you take the time to find some really good wholesalers to buy your materials from. So how do you actually find a wholesaler? Well, there's a couple different ways. One is to look on the website of a trade show. So for instance, here in Atlanta, we have the Atlanta Mart or America's Mart. And so I would go on to America's Mart website and there's a link that I can click that says exhibitors. So these wholesalers will exhibit at trade shows a lot of times and they'll be listed on the exhibitors list. You can click exhibitors or whatever that link says to follow through to the list of wholesalers that are going to be at that trade show. You can actually then go link by link and see the wholesalers and click through to their own websites to see what kind of products they offer. If you think you found one that offers similar types of products to what you're wanting for your materials, you can contact that wholesaler and apply to be able to purchase from their website. Now, a lot of times for a wholesaler to approve you, you will need to be an established business with an EIN number. A lot of times that is on the application, so you'll want to look for that. If you have an EIN number, you're good. If you don't have an EIN number, you'll have to do a little more digging to find wholesalers who will accept an applicant without that number. It's a little bit of work at the beginning to find these wholesalers, but trust me, once you do, you'll be saving so much money, it's going to be totally worth it. One other way that you can find wholesalers is to find some Facebook groups centered around what your product is. Once I joined the group, I would then ask that community, hey, does anybody know of any good floral supply wholesalers? And actually in the beginning of my business, that's what I did, and that's how I found one of my main suppliers that I use even to this day. Someone just recommended them to me on one of my groups that was centered around my product. One thing I've learned the hard way with wholesalers is that you need to have some backups. So you may find this one wholesale company that has your materials that you get at a great price and you use them all the time. Awesome. But you want to have a backup because sometimes, especially during holiday seasons, these wholesale companies can run out of stock and then you're stuck with nothing to make your product. This has happened to me a couple times and I've been kind of in a pinch to try to find somewhere that offers something similar for me to make my products with. So that's it, guys. That's my story and how I grew my business to 6 figures on Etsy and my top 5 strategies for you to do the same. I hope you got value out of this video and some great tips if you're just starting or if you've already started and you're just trying to grow. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have, so leave me a comment down below if there's anything you're still wondering about. I'd also love if you'd subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell button to make sure your notifications are on so you won't ever miss when I upload a new video. I'm going to be adding new videos each Tuesday, so make sure to check back in for more tips and tricks on how to grow your handmade business.